Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for being here today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Super excited. Sidecar Dog got in touch with me for a marathon, and this is going to be something special. It's even there's a little play on words that Sidecar used. This is called The Grey Album. And you'll find out, I guess you've already seen who is on here, but it's a play on words on the because of the White Album. But yeah, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with Paul McCartney, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, from the Ram album 1971. Then we're going to do How Do You Sleep by John Lennon from the Imagine album, also 71. Oh, wow. These are all solo albums after the Beatles. I Don't Come Easy by Ringo Starr from the non-album. It says non... Okay, give me a second. I have it on here already. Just Ringo, the Ringo album. 1973, it says here. Well, you know, I don't trust Spotify that much. Then Beware of the Darkness by George Harrison from the All Things Must Pass album, 1970. Then we're gonna do, and this is actually on Spotify. Let's Be Natural by the Rutles instead of the Rutles. And it says here, the Rutles were a very popular parody group in the mid-70s. So yeah, we're going to listen to them too. And this is from the album called The Rutles. And this is 1978. Wow, they literally look like them. Same haircuts. Awesome. Well, I'm very, very excited about this because, I mean, these are all songs I've never heard before. I know the names, of course, of the Beatles, but this is going to be interesting. And this is officially the Grey Album by Sidecar Dog. So enjoy. And let's get into it, you know. We're going to have each Beatle do their thing, and then we're going to do a parody band. Awesome. I love it. So... thanks everyone for being here, for being a fan of the channel. If you're new to the channel, you might like and subscribe or dislike, whatever makes you happy, of course. And yeah, let's have some fun. But thanks again to Sidecar for sponsoring the marathon. I do appreciate it very much. All right, so one moment. All right, here we go. Uncle Albert. Paul McCartney.
We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. We're so sorry if we caused you any pain. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. But there's no one left at home, and I believe I'm gonna wait. We're so sorry, but we haven't heard a thing all day. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. But if anything should happen, we'll be sure to give a ring. Admiral Halsey notified me he had to have a berth or he couldn't get to sea. I had another look and I had a cup of tea and a butter pie.
Butter pie?
The butter wouldn't melt, so put it in the pie. All right.
Hands across the water, water. Hands across the sky. Hands across the water, water. Hands across the sky. Little, little bee, gypsy, get around, get around. Get your feet up off the ground, live a little, get around. Little, little bee, gypsy, get around, get around. Get your feet up off the ground, live a little, get around. Hands across the water, water. Hands across the sky. Hands across the water, water. Hands across the sky.
Okay, it was gonna bleed over into a new song, so we had to cut it off there. But I mean, obviously, you know, saying that, oh, it sounds like the Beatles, like really, it's literally just. I mean, they were literally still together, but not. I just saw an article that they formally disbanded in '74. I guess illegally on paper. You know, all that money was in the way and all that stuff, unfortunately. But they stopped recording supposedly in before 19. No, yeah, it says here 1970, or just their last album. You know, this was already when it was over. So there's a whole article here that I have to read, and I will read it. Why, and was it because of Yoko? Because basically Lennon and McCartney, that's basically what they said, that they wanted me to be married to them. It was either them or Yoko, and I chose Yoko, you know, and that's cool, you know. I mean, if that made him happy, you know, that's just the way things go, you know. Sometimes, unfortunately, that, I guess, broke up one of the most famous bands in the world. But, you know, that's just how it goes. But I don't know the real story, you know. I've always heard things here and there. So I'll read into it now that, yeah, there's an overwhelmingly amount of information on why the Beatles left each other. But yeah, let's not focus too much on that. Let's focus all of their music individually. This was very, very good. I loved the humor in the writing, the trumpets. It had obviously the vibe, you know, that Beatlesque vibe, but how could it not, right? Because it's one of they were all contributing in a way, you know, to make the final product with the Beatles what it was. So obviously it's gonna sound still a little bit, you know, like their style, you know. So this is gonna be very interesting. So this is Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney after this amazing success they had, you know. So it's just, it must have been, and they were still so young, you know, when they disbanded. They had to still their entire lives ahead of each other. Sadly, John Lennon was cut short in 1980. I think that's when it happened. Unfortunately, that was just super unnecessary, super yeah, not even like I haven't really looked into that either. You know, I was born in a different generation. You know, I know a lot about other bands, um, and but I know, of course, that unfortunately he was killed outside of his apartment, shot to death. You know, unfortunately, by this maniac who just wanted to be famous. I think for killing John Lennon. What a ridiculous. It's just so sad. But let's continue. Let's just let's talk about the music. This is John Lennon. This is also How Do You Sleep? I looked just at this article, and this obviously is an album. It says here the Ballad of John and Yoko, Enter Yoko. But that was, I guess. It says How Do You Sleep? Lennon and McCartney grow apart, and then there was like this whole information. But yeah, let's this is from the Imagine album, same year as Paul McCartney's album. Let's compare a little bit the styles and the vibe and everything. I know the song Imagine, of course. How could I not? But I've never heard of this one, so let's check it out. Here we go. So the tone of this song is obviously a lot more serious. The music is more serious. The lyrics, I just looked them up. I don't know if this is directed towards Paul. I don't know, because the whole like a pretty face may last a year or two, but pretty soon they'll see what you can do. The sound you make is muzak to my ears. I know muzak is like instead of music. You must have learned something in all those years. I don't know if they had a beef. That is up to you guys to tell me. I know, like, you guys could write me a book on the Beatles. I know one or two people, you know, who are like very, very active in the comment section, who are going to explain this exactly what's happening. But I just found that Paul's stuff was more lighthearted and a little bit more funny, and you know, a little bit more, and this is, I guess, a little bit more, I don't know, you know, I really would have to look into it, you know, the whole beef. And I mean, it is a big deal, you know, be so successful and then split. It's like, and a band has always been like any band, you know, that they're kind of like split is a big deal. Like, but really, like, to go apart like that is something must have happened, you know. It's not like Metallica where the bass player leaves and then they just have another one. This is like the whole band just like quit. So yeah, but again, I guess it's impossible not to talk about the Beatles and to talk about their split. Unfortunately, I guess I'm like doing a horrible job. But yeah, I like the music. It's very serious, and I like his style. And I've always, of course, loved John Lennon for his more serious approach when it comes to the Beatles. Paul McCartney's more the charmer, and you know, the songs are more about love, and John Lennon was more about politics and you know, and rights and politics and war and stuff like that, which is very good, you know. I mean, it's always good to be outspoken. And Paul McCartney, I guess, was more of a romantic. Maybe he didn't want to talk too much about, you know, it really depends on your style, you know. It really, like, I don't know if I would write about the war, you know. I do like bands that compose about problems, like Megadeth, you know. They're constantly singing about conflicts and politics, and you don't even realize that when you live in Mexico, you know. Or as a German citizen, we don't really have, besides 2 world wars, anything to do with war, you know, now, after 1946. We try to avoid war at all cost, and so, yeah, I guess my parents, you know, can't talk for myself, but yeah, so let's keep going. It's really good. What Muzak is. Muzak is an American brand of background music played in retail stores and other public establishments. The name has been in use since 1934 and has been owned by various companies. Wow, I did not know this. So the sound you make is like, it's just background noise, It's like, because a lot of people are like, it's sad because you go to like Publix, or I don't know, you go to any like supermarket and there's like Steely Dan. That is not Muzak. That's amazing. It's just so sad that they use such great music as Muzak. But now I know what that means. Now I can tell someone who sucks, hey, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Very good. I mean, that riff alone, that do do dum dum do do dum dum, it reminds me a little bit of Bob Marley. He had a song, do do dum dum do do dum 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 do do dum dum. I don't know which one, but yeah, this was a little bit slower, and I think it was before Bob Marley wrote that. But this was great. Let me know. Let me know if it's directed towards Paul or anybody in the band, or because sometimes, I mean, it's a saying like, how do you sleep at night? Like when you don't really like the person, you tell them. When you say that to someone, you're not really in agreement with them. Okay, now let's give it up for Ringo Starr, the drummer of the Beatles, of course, and let's see. I don't know how he came up, if he wrote chords or if he just like laid down music on paper. As a drummer, it's different, but I mean, there is a drummer that I love who was an amazing songwriter in Dream Theater, still is to this day. And I guess they do have their way of writing songs, I mean, yes, their instrument are the drums, but they do play guitar and sing and can come up with great, great music. Mike Portnoy, So let's give it up here. I Don't Come Easy. Ringo, right? Let's go. And this is when? 73? Yeah. Okay. So also pretty fresh of the Beatles, Jesus. Wow, this so good. I've never heard a song by Ringo Starr himself. I mean, his singing is excellent. The composition was wonderful. Like, it's catchy, it's good, it has nice chords. I mean, what is there to say? It's very good. You know, I had no expectations. Well, I didn't know what was gonna be. You know, very good. And I was to my surprise, I just looked up. I literally typed in what ages were the Beatles, and it literally came up by itself when they broke up. Now that we're talking about the Beatles and the breakup that I wanted to avoid. But this is the last time I'll mention their breakup. But they were literally 27. George Harrison and Paul McCartney were 27 years old. 27. That's younger than Alexia. That's insane. So to be in a band and be so successful and you're still in your 20s and then it's over. So like I said, they literally had their entire lives. I mean, I guess at 40, you're still pretty much like in the game, you know? And they're literally like not even in their 30s yet. Okay, 29, John Lennon and Ringo Starr were 29. I mean, when you're in your 30s, I guess that's when you there's people that barely buy their house at 30 or stuff like that, you know, have kids. And they'd already been the most successful music band in the world. That's just mind-boggling. I mean, obviously there must have been a clash of egos, like a war with these four people in the room. Crazy. Wow. But this was really, really good. I didn't know what to expect, you know. I've always considered him a good drummer. Like I said, he's not a jazz drummer or a virtuoso, but he can hold time. That's all you need to do being a drummer. You don't have to be like, you know, that's all fancy dancy. Like, keep the time, you know, keep us in time and sync, and that's your mission. And then, yes, of course you can, you know, do all the good stuff they do. But yeah, this was great. So now to the guitar player, George Harrison, amazing guitar player. He has influenced so many people that I listen to. When I like, there's this guitar player called Vinnie Moore that I love. He's more on the neoclassical side, plays a lot of fast guitar, and you know, but he's like, his biggest influence is George Harrison. So I mean, he even has like this wonderful instrumental, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but played like with, you know, instrumental, beautiful. So okay, George Harrison, Beware of Darkness, and this is the 50th anniversary edition. All Things Must Pass. It doesn't say when it came out originally. Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm sure you guys know. Okay, here we go. Let's give it up for. I mean, he wrote "Here Comes the Sun" and countless other great hits by the Beatles. Let's go with him. Here I know a little bit more what to expect.
Watch out now, take up your word, falling swingers. Dropping all around you. The pain that often mingles in your fingertips. Beware hit you. It can hurt you. Make you sore. What is more? That is not what you are here for. Watch out now. Take up your word. Soft shoe shufflers. Dancing down the sidewalks as each unconscious sufferer wanders aimlessly. Beware of Maya. Watch out now. Take
No, beautiful. I mean, it says here, nicknamed the Quiet Beatle. Nicknamed the Quiet Beatle. He's my favorite Beatle. There it is. I said it. I don't know, and it's not because I'm a guitar player. It's just I love his style, like the way he writes, the way he plays. I mean, it did make them sound the way they did, you know. That's, I guess nobody can say anything against that. I just love everything he writes. All the songs that I listen to that are written by him are like the ones that I like the most. And then this here is just beautiful. The feel, the chord progressions he uses, the lyrics. He's like the spiritual person, a spiritual being, full of light, you know. Like, I like him very much. I'm very sad that he passed away. Yeah. It's so good. This is so far my favorite solo song from these four. But just that guitar and oh man, let's go back.
watch out now. Take up the word, greedy leaders. They take you where you should not go. While weeping at the cedars, they just want to grow and grow. Beware of darkness. Beware of darkness.
Shh. Wow, what a great song. And I had the lyrics up. Reminds me of these guys. You know, it's just very good. Very good music. Not that the others wasn't good. I loved Ringo Starr's. I loved John Lennon's. I loved Paul McCartney's, but this is what I like. This is, I don't know. It's just rich. So rich. You know, that's just a personal, I guess, preference. I don't know. But I mean, maybe there's another. I mean, we could do Grey Album Part 1, Grey Album Part 2, Grey Album Part 3. I have to get through these these albums. It's ridiculous. There's so much music. It's almost impossible in your lifetime to listen to it all. You can't. We don't have enough time. Unfortunately, the day we sleep most of the time. Well, now I can't. There's a lot of like, if you have any kind of remedy to sleep, and I don't think it's uh I don't think I have. My God, I can't even remember what it's called. Insomnia. I don't, because it's not insomnia. It's just like I have so much stuff in my mind that I worry about. I can't sleep. So just when I'm super exhausted, then I'm just like, but I can't just like lay down at night and sleep. My mind is always racing. It's bad. But I'm not depressed or anything. It's just I worry about a lot of things. It has to do, of course, with my parents. I worry about Alexia all the time, her back. It's just, it's just like I do care. Like I'm not. I've never been, and I just talked to my mom yesterday for 3 hours, and she's like, "Yeah, Nick, I know, you've always been that way since you were a child. You've always been, you care about people and too much." And she was like, "Just chill, just relax, just don't worry." And I can't, I can't just shut off the world. So yeah, but I've tried like, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. It will get better. That's one thing that I do have is positivity, and I don't easily despair, and I don't have depression or anything. I always see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see a way out. It's just a thing that's happening since we came back from Germany. Maybe I have the longest jet lag known to man. It's been a month. It's over a month, and I can't. Like when we go to bed, like Alexia and I, around like 11:30, like I'm like, sometimes I fall asleep, but usually I just get up and I'm working, and then I do the channel. Maybe I work too much. I don't know. Yeah. But please don't be like, just like, don't stop doing videos. The videos actually help me. The videos help me. The music helps me. The being able to talk and you guys listening, it's better than being with a shrink. Trust me. I've never been with a shrink, but I just don't want to, Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I just don't think I'm like that damaged or that bad, It's just, I think I'm having the longest jet lag known to history. Okay, so now so this was beautiful. We're gonna go now with the Rutles, I guess, like Beatles, Rutles. Let's Be Natural. So this is, of course, like the band. Oh my God, I love that band. What's it called? That movie, Spinal Tap. Oh my God. That movie is so good. Yeah. So it's basically the Spinal Tap of the Beatles. Here we go.
Time goes by, as we all know, naturally. People come and people go, naturally. Let's be natural. Ever since the world began, let's be natural. Every woman, every man, let's be natural. Has followed nature's plan, let's be natural. Oh yeah. Stars are in the sky above, naturally.
Christ. He literally has the same freaking voice than John Lennon's voice. Like, even when he uses the words like sky above, like, jeez, they don't even sound like a parody. This sounds literally like the Beatles. It sounds very good. And I'm reading here, originally broadcast on network TV in 78, ex-Monty Python member Eric Idle, satire of the Beatles. Only Spinal Tap's Rehab has outdone it. Okay. This is very good. Spinal Tap were not very good on when it came to the music. They were funnier, I guess. The whole delivery, that movie is just it's so funny.
People rise and fall in love naturally. Let's be natural. Ever since the world began, let's be natural. Every woman, every man, let's be natural. Has followed nature's plan, let's be natural. Everything is everything naturally. Yeah, people cry, laugh and sing naturally. Let's be natural. Ever since the world began, let's be natural. Every woman, every man, let's be natural. Has followed nature's plan, let's be natural. Yeah.
Very good. That could have been a Beatle. I mean, you would have fooled me if someone would have told me, "Hey, have you ever heard this Beatles song?" I would have 100%, not even 100%, 120%. I would have thought they're the Beatles because I just don't know them so well. Their catalog is so big, and this is a perfect impression of the voice, also of the style, the drumming. It sounds like the Beatles, the Rutles. All right, so there's so SIDECAR suggested something. So usually I choose the last track, because usually when it's very short, I think this marathon has been pretty long, but I do want to add it because, and also JK is such a big supporter, so I do it with a lot of with love, of course. And he suggested Billy Preston, Nothing from Nothing, and also I think what he told me that this is Warner Brothers, or maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a little bit scared because these icons, I hope they don't block this marathon. I mean, you're gonna be able to watch it on Patreon, but I want it on YouTube, right? So let's do this last song by Billy Preston, because I know I enforce the rule 5 songs, please, because and I explained this the other day to Kevin, because I used to do like, okay, 25 minutes, unlimited songs, and then people were like, well, I mean, there's short songs, there's 1 minute songs that I like, and I would end up with 8, 9, 10 songs in 25 minutes, and after like 5 songs, your memory kind of like, or the 6th song, let's be kind of like, with 5 I'm totally fine, but after 6th song you're like, you're starting to get exhausted because there's always it's always different, and there's so much things you have to kind of analyze, and I'm not the guy who just says, oh, this was great. I sometimes get into details and stuff, and after the 7th, 8th song I was like starting to kind of like, see double. So that's why I don't do it. But what I do is, like, especially guys like, JK or SIDECAR or Dave or, Nick, like, or RG or Narvik, these guys have been constantly supporting me. So to add another song, honestly, I do it with a lot of, like, I love to do it. And usually I add something from my kind of like little box of secrets. But in this one here, he told me, hey, why don't you do this one? I usually don't do that, but I'm sure it's going to be a good one. So let's go for it. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to play here, So I think this is perfect. So I do want to say thank you again, JK, for showing me these great tunes, man. Awesome. And I'm sure this is gonna be just like to kind of like seal it up, perfectly. So here goes Nothing from Nothing by Billy Preston. This is The Kids and Me 74. Let's go. Let's check it out.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. I'm not trying to be your hero, 'cause that zero is too cold for me. I'm not trying to be your highness, 'cause that minus is too low to see. Yeah. Hey. Nothing from nothing leave nothing. And I'm not stuffing, believe you me. Don't you remember I told you I'm a soldier in the war on poverty? Yeah, yes, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. Oh, baby. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. That's right, baby. Yeah. Gotta have something if you wanna be with me. You gotta bring me something, girl, if you wanna be with me.
I love. Oh God! What? That was the Doors. Yes. Oh, wow. But it didn't last more than a couple of seconds because the doors do block. I can cut it out. This was a great song. I love the happy piano, it sounded a little bit like a ragtag, and then I don't know, it sounded very like a very happy ending to a marathon. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this awesome marathon sidecar. If I said JK before, sometimes my mind, I'm sure I said JK because I just did one for JK before this. And so if I sometimes mix up the names, in the description it says thank you to the person who sponsored the marathon. So if I suddenly say JK and it's a sidecar marathon, I do apologize because I do want to give credit where credit is due. But since you guys are, the ones that I'm mostly react to and your marathons, so I'm sorry. I don't, maybe it didn't happen, but if it did, I apologize. But thank you again, Sidecar, for this awesome album, for this great album, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Please let me know what you think in the description. Let's talk about the breakup. What do you think about the Beatles? What do you think about after the Beatles, their solo careers? All that information in the comment section. I know it's going to be a big comment section. Very interesting. I love it. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Like and subscribe if you like the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.